Hello everybody, this is Mike Starkey, the elected Mayor of Copeland, and this is the first in a new series of podcasts that we're going to be running during the lockdown period to try and ensure that we're communicating as much information to residents as we possibly can and keeping you up to date and informed as things progress and develop during the lockdown. I know of particular interest to, particularly all our businesses out there are the grants. And I know the picture can be quite confusing, as we move between tiers, what's available to who and what the processes are. So today I'm joined by one of my senior managers who you'll be familiar with if you've been following our podcasts. So I'd like to welcome Janet Sinnott. Afternoon, Janet, and thanks for joining us on today's podcast. Janet, we'll start off. Clearly we're going to have a lot of the business community tuned into this. Can you just give us an overview on what grants are available and what processes of identification and application we need to go through? Because the picture has become a little bit confused for a lot of people at the moment. So if you can try and unravel that for us and in the best way you can, and just explain what is and isn't available at the current moment.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in terms of business support. So hopefully the podcast will help to clear a few of the questions up. In addition to this, our website has everything on there too. People just need to click on copeland.gov.uk, select the COVID banner at the top, scroll down to the support for businesses area. All of the relevant links and applications can be found under the relevant headings. So a good rule of thumb for businesses at the minute is if they pay business rates and they've been forced to close at any point since the 5th of November, they can apply for something that's called the Local Restriction Support Grant for Closed Premises. If businesses are unsure whether they should close or whether they can stay open, a full list of the business categories is on the .gov website. We link to that on our business page too. So if that is them, grants are available for between £1,300 and £3,000, and that's dependent on rateable value. This grant will continue if the business was forced to close as a result of Tier 4 that started on the 30th of December, and subsequently as a result of the lockdown. We have the data from those businesses that applied during lockdown too, so we do not need businesses to reapply. We're just doing some work behind the scenes and we should be in a position to make a payment towards the middle of next week. We'll follow this up with an email so businesses can see how we've calculated the payment, and the first payment that we send will be a lump sum payment covering 6 weeks. So that's for those that pay business rates that are forced to close. If a business doesn't pay business rates, we've got the Additional Restrictions Grant Fund. This is the discretionary pot. Grants are available of between £500 and £3,000 per 28-day period. And for all the businesses that access this fund during lockdown too, again, we're just doing some work behind the scenes and we're aiming to send an additional payment in January. There's no need to reapply. Again, we'll follow this up with an email. We heard this week that this fund is being topped up by government as well. As soon as we have the allocation, we'll communicate to businesses that how we can support them further. It's looking like we might be able to make a regular monthly payment under the Additional Restrictions Grant until March, April time at least.
Thanks very much, Janet. We launched a scheme yesterday. Can you tell us more about what was launched yesterday and who'll be involved or benefit from that?
Yeah, sure. It's a little bit different. Last night we launched the Local Restriction Support Grant for Open Premises. We're a bit behind the curve on this one because we were waiting for guidance and obviously we had the Christmas period. But this is for a set period now, which is between the 2nd to the 30th of December. Local Restriction Support Grant Open will stop as soon as businesses are forced to close because businesses receive support via the Local Restriction Support Grant closed. So it's targeted at hospitality, leisure and accommodation. Businesses outside of those categories that were open but impacted between the 2nd and the 30th of December can still apply, but we need to prioritise those sectors first. It's on the website, went live last night, it's gone out through social media, and yeah, we've had a good response so far. So yeah, if you think that's you, please submit a form, hoping to start to make the first payments next week.
Okay, great. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak, announced a new grant this week. What's the situation with that grant? Who'll qualify, and when will we be in a position to start paying that out to the businesses?
Yeah, that's right. This is the closed business lockdown grant. This is specifically for retail, leisure and hospitality that are required to close due to the lockdown that we're in now. This is going to be on top of the local restriction support grant close payments. It's not in place of, it's on top of. If you've got a rateable value of up to £15,000, you will get £4,000. For rateable values between 15 and 51,000, the payment is £6,000. And for businesses with rateable values greater than 51,000, it is £9,000. Now that is key, that greater than 51,000, because last time under lockdown 1 they were excluded. So, you know, pubs and places like that just missed the cut-off, they need to be putting in an application for this once it's available. So at the moment, we're still waiting for guidance. We're expecting that by next week. If we're able to, when we get that guidance, we will automatically pay businesses from the details we hold from the grants we paid after lockdown 1. For any new businesses or those that didn't qualify last time, we'll have an application form available on the website as soon as we've got the guidance.
And you know what we'll commit to doing, Janet, I think particularly around the grant situation and the work your department's doing, we can do a weekly podcast update, you know, probably every Thursday, just where we are. We can let people know what amount of money we've got out, what's still left, and making sure that the message gets through to everyone who needs to hear it, what they need to do. In terms of the, you know, we had the wet pubs grant as well. I've been asked a question about the wet pubs grant. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that and where we are with the wet pubs grant? Yeah,
so when we entered Tier 2 on the 2nd of December, pubs and bars were entitled to a fortnightly payment because they were the ones during that period that were told that they had to remain closed. So we'll continue to pay them going forward, but what we'll do is we'll alter that to an upfront payment of 6 weeks from next week. So they'll cease getting the fortnightly payment and we'll give them that lump sum 6-week payment. There was also the additional 1,000 Christmas support payment, and that's for the wet led pubs and bars that you know, are able to declare that they turn over less than 50% on food. They can still apply for that until the 29th of January. The application forms on the website. We're up to date, to be honest, with all applications that we've received. So if there's a pub still waiting for that 1,000 Christmas support payment, please get in touch so that we can see what the issue is if you haven't received the funds already.
Okay, that's great. And what's the message to the self-employed people?
Yeah, so you'll remember from the last podcast we did an appeal under the Additional Restrictions Grant Fund because there's quite a lot of self-employed people that, you know, they haven't been able to get help under the Self-Employed Income Support Scheme. You know, if that's you, you know, please just put an application form in for the Additional Restrictions Grant on the website, and we'll get you included on the payment run and on any future payments that we make as well.
Okay, thanks very much, Janet. Is there anything else, a particular note that you'd like to add at this stage?
Just a minor point, really. We've heard that a couple of businesses are saying that they're not very good with online forms, so that they haven't submitted the form. You know, if that's the case, we've got paper forms. We can email you a form. We can even put one in the post. So, you know, please don't let that stop you. That you're struggling with the online form. Just give us a call or give us a ring. You know, if anything I've said today isn't quite clear and you're unsure still after you read the website, just, you know, email us business.rates@copeland.gov.uk. Team are here. We're happy to help with any questions, or just give us a call on the main council number.
And, you know, equal to that, you know, I get a lot of correspondence coming through things like Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp. You know, I'm happy for those messages to come to me through Facebook, through WhatsApp, or emailing me, mike.starkey@copeland.gov.uk. and I can get the emails through to Janet and her team very quickly. And what we will commit to, one of the things that we've been particularly proud of in Copeland since we entered this pandemic is that Janet and her team have been leading the country at the speed at which they've been getting money out to businesses, because we know how important that is to all of you out there. And you can rest assured that as fast as is practically possible, we will be getting these grants turned around and paid to you, and to try and help you, identify if you're one of the people who could potentially benefit. So we will be doing all we can. As I said earlier, both Janet and I'll arrange to probably do this podcast every Thursday to keep you up to date, because it is a moving feast, and given the potential time we could be in lockdown, there's new things coming all the time, and we'll just make sure that we keep people updated. Tomorrow's podcast, I'm going to be joined by the Chief Executive of the Council, Pat Graham, and the Head of Customer Service, Heather Holmes, and also the Head of our Waste team, Shirley Proctor-Dow. Tomorrow is a slightly different slant of the podcast. All of the podcasts that we've done so far are designed to talk about how the council can help and support residents. Tomorrow it's a little bit of an appeal of how you can help us as a council, because obviously the pandemic is affecting us as an organisation, and we're going to try and explain in some of the ways that it does, and really it's an appeal for some patience and understanding, and helping us so we can be as effective as possible in trying to help yourselves. So that's it for tonight. I hope you found the information that we've been given today useful. As I've said, we're happy to take any messages, any questions, and we'll try and get back to you with the answers as quickly as we can. Janet, thanks once again for joining us tonight. That was extremely helpful, and we'll touch base again next week.